Hello everyone, this is Dr. Komal Behrani working as a tutor in Physiotherapy Department of UN Mehta Institute of Cardiology and Research Center. I am going to discuss about nebulization and its drugs as a part of continuous physiotherapy education. We'll cover today definition, purpose, types of nebulizers, parts of nebulizer kit, indications, contraindications and drugs used for nebulization. Now what is nebulization? Process of dispersing liquid medication into microscopical particles and delivering into lungs by inhalation through a device called nebulizer. A nebulizer is a device that uses a small compressor to convert liquid medication into tiny droplets of mist that can be inhaled directly into the lungs. Since the medication goes straight to the lungs, onset of the medication's actions often takes place rapidly. This promotes quick symptom relief in case of illnesses such as asthma, where fast relief is desirable. Also, it minimizes the risk of side effects of the medication, preventing the medication from being metabolized into less effective form by the body. Most aerosol medications have bronchodilating effects, mucolytic effects, and are administered by respiratory therapy personnel only. Now the purpose of nebulization is to relieve respiratory insufficiency due to bronchospasm, to correct underlying disorders responsible for bronchospasm, to liquefy and remove retained thick secretions, to reduce inflammatory and allergic responses of the upper respiratory tract, to correct humidification deficit resulting from inspired air by passing the airway through the use of mechanical ventilation in critically ill and post-surgical patients. Now, types of nebulizers. There are three kinds of nebulizers we use. First is ultrasonic, mesh and jet. We'll firstly discuss about jet nebulizers because they are commonly used in hospital setups. There are three main types of nebulizers as we discussed before. First, jet. This uses compressed gas to make small aerosol particles. The driving gas passes through a very small hole, a jet, producing an area of negative pressure. The solution is sucked up the tube to the baffle and turned into mist that is inhaled, and this is used in hospital setup. Second is ultrasonic. These are self-contained electrical devices which make aerosol through high frequency vibrations in medicated fluid placed within the chamber. Mesh. Liquid particles passes through a very fine mesh to form the aerosol. This kind of nebulizer puts out the smallest particles and it is also the most expensive. If the patient is on ventilator, the nebulizer can be placed in line with the ventilator circuit. Now we will discuss about parts of nebulizers. First is compressor. Compressor is the component that powers the nebulization system. It's a device that uses a nozzle attached to the tubing to drive outside air through the nozzle. Second is tubing. The tube transports pressured air from the compressor to the medication cup, which vaporizes the liquid medication. Medication cup. The liquid medication is poured into this container. It is turned to aerosol or mist in this cup by pressured air fed through the tubing by the compressor. Face mask or mouthpiece. The face mask or mouthpiece is the portion that a patient wears through which the pharmaceutical mist is inhaled. If you are going to wear a face mask, make sure it's fitted snugly. If you are using a mouthpiece, be sure it's securely positioned between your teeth and your lips cover it completely. Now fifth is nebulizer filter. Filters for nebulizers are the integral component of the nebulizer system. The ambient air or oxygen is compressed and pumped via nebulizers, which aids in the conversion of liquid medication into mist. Before entering the medication cup, the compressed air travels through the filter, which helps to eliminate particulate particles. The filter should be examined and replaced on a regular basis. Now, we will discuss about how to give nebulizer to a patient. Firstly, we will place the medication into the chamber and close it. We will then attach the mouthpiece or mask. Then we will connect the tubing, one end with the chamber and other end with the compressor or the flow meter. Then we will turn on the compressor or flow meter and ask the patient to wear the face mask. Then the We can ask the patient to sit upright if he can and inhale this medication about 10 to 15 minutes until the chamber filled with medication is empty. Then we'll turn off the nebulizer and clean the kit. Ideally, one should change the kit once a week if using in a hospital setup, or disinfect thoroughly if using in home setup. Indications of giving nebulizations are asthma attack, respiratory distress, atelectasis, stridor, pneumonia, respiratory congestion, or absence of inhaler. Contraindications are unstable blood pressure, arrhythmias, increased pulse or tachycardia, unconscious patients, allergy, any other side effects. Drugs that we can use via nebulizers are bronchodilators, mucolytics, beta agonists, anticholinergics, corticosteroids, and antibiotics are the most commonly used drugs administered by nebulizers. If dilution is required, 0.9% normal saline should be used as a hypotonic solution. Bronchodilators. We'll firstly discuss about bronchodilators because they relax airway, smooth muscles, and aid in easier breathing. Asthalin. Now, asthalin contains salbutamol. It is used to treat severe asthma, chronic bronchospasm. It relaxes smooth muscles of the airways and widens them. Mechanism of action is it stimulates beta 2 adrenergic receptors, which are predominant receptors in the bronchial smooth muscles of the lungs. 2 or 2.5 ml asthalin is diluted with 2 to 4 ml of 0.9% NS or as advised by the physician. It is also used in hyperkalemia as it washes out potassium ions. Caution is to be taken in pediatric patients. Side effects are tremors, headache, mouth or throat irritation, muscle cramps, tachycardia, peripheral vasodilation, and hypotension. Palpitation. So for pediatric patients, levosalbutamol is used as it has no side effects such as tachycardia or hypokalemia. Now we'll discuss about levosalbutamol. Now salbutamol is a racemic mixture of equal portions of two enantiomers, that is R-salbutamol and S-salbutamol. Levosalbutamol is the R-salbutamol part which is responsible for the bronchodilator effect. Difference between levosalbutamol and salbutamol is that salbutamol has the side effects of tachycardia and hypokalemia. Levosalbutamol is more expensive and it is usually considered safer option for patients with existing cardiac conditions and pediatric patients. Adrenaline. Through its action on beta adrenergic receptors, adrenaline leads to bronchial smooth muscle relaxation that helps to relieve bronchospasm, wheezing, and dyspnea. Used for bronchospasm, severe laryngobronchitis, and stridor. Injection contains dosage of 1 gem 1000 units, that is 1 milligram in 1 ml ampule. In pediatric patients for croup, 0.5 ml per kg per dose, maximum 5 ml, 1 ml diluted in 1 gem 9 ratio with 9 ml NS is used. Now what is croup? Croup is an infection of the upper airways that causes breathing difficulty and a barking cough. Croup is due to swelling around the vocal cords. Now ipratropium bromide. Ipratropium is an anticholinergic drug used to control bronchospasm. The actions of intranasal ipratropium mimic the action of atropine by inhibiting salivary and mucus gland secretions as well as dilating bronchial smooth muscles. 2 ml contains 500 microgram diluted with 2 to 4 ml NS. Not advised for pediatric patients, and if advised, dosage is reduced. Side effects are headache, dizziness, throat irritation, cough, dry mouth, and nausea. Also paired with salbutamol and corticosteroids. In this hospital, we mostly use Duolin, that is the combination of levosalbutamol and ipratropium bromide, frequently used for bronchospasms. Now we will discuss about corticosteroids. Corticosteroids suppress inflammatory process. Firstly, we will discuss about budesonide. Budesonide is a potent topical anti-inflammatory agent. It reduces airway inflammation and hyperreactivity, causing inhibition of the bronchospasm, wheezing, and coughing. 0.5 milligram respule of 2 ml diluted with NS may be mixed with salbutamol and ipratropium bromide. Now, Foracort. Foracort is a combination of formoterol and budesonide. Formoterol is a class of medications called long-acting beta agonists. It works by relaxing and opening air passages in the lungs, making it easier to breathe. Things to be taken care of. Caution should be taken in patients having uncontrolled diabetes while using salbutamol and corticosteroids, as it may cause fluctuations in blood sugar levels. So, if prescribed with these medications, random blood sugar should be monitored in every few hours. Now we will discuss about mucolytics. Used in patients with frequent respiratory infections who have increased sputum viscosity. It loosens secretions and allows sputum to be expectorated. Firstly, we will discuss about most commonly used mucolytic, that is ambroxol hydrochloride. It is used in treatment of respiratory tract disorders associated with viscid mucus. It helps to loosen thick mucus, making it easier to cough out. This makes it easier for air to move in and out. It has almost no adverse reactions. Now, Mucomyx. Mucomyx contains acetylcysteine. Mucomyx is commonly used for treatment when acute cough due to viscous mucus, when ambroxol hydrochloride fails to work. 3 to 5 ml of a 20% solution or 6 to 10 ml of a 10% solution used in a nebulizer 3 to 4 times a day. Administered with bronchodilator, as it can cause bronchospasm. It can also cause bradycardia, blurred vision and anaphylactoid reactions. Then we will discuss about 3% normal saline. It is a hypertonic solution. It reduces edema, improves clearance of thick mucus plaque in small airways. Its mechanism is, as sodium is increased due to hypertonic solution, it attracts water which thins out the mucus, making it easier to cough out. It is also used with bronchodilator to prevent bronchospasm. Now, Mesna. Mesna contains mistapron. It is the last option in mucolytics when others fail to show effects. The injection contains 200 milligrams in 3 ml solution. It is almost always diluted with NS. It can also cause bronchospasm, so bronchodilator is always given with it. Now we will discuss about antibiotics. Firstly, we will discuss about cholestymethyl sodium. Colistin is an antibiotic medication used as a last resort treatment for multi-drug resistant gram-negative infections such as pneumonia. These may involve bacteria such as Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Klebsiella pneumoniae or Acinetobacter. Inhaled colistin may be beneficial in the treatment of nosocomial pneumonia, that is ventilator associated or not, due to multi-drug resistance gram-negative bacteria. 1 MIU vial in powder form is dissolved with 0.9% NS to 10 ml of solution. It should not be mixed with other drugs. Now, tobramycin. It contains 300 milligrams per 5 ml in a respule. Tobramycin belongs to a class of drugs known as aminoglycoside antibiotics. Tobramycin inhalation solution works by stopping the growth of certain bacteria, example Pseudomonas aeruginosa, that commonly infects the lungs of people with cystic fibrosis. It should not be diluted or mixed with other drugs. It is mostly given after all other nebulizers. Prostacyclin. Prostacyclin chiefly prevents formation of platelet plug involved in blood clot formation. It is also an effective vasodilator, so used in pulmonary hypertension. It acts as a vasodilator without affecting patient's blood pressure. It is more effective in reducing PA pressure in inhaled form rather than taken intravenously. Milrinone. Milrinone is a common ionotropic support. Nebulized milrinone associates with improved hemodynamic parameters of cardiac output in patients with advanced heart failure. Nebulized milrinone is mostly well tolerated and without any adverse effects. It decreases pulmonary vascular resistance and decreases pulmonary artery pressure and is used for patients having severe PAH. One injection contains 10 mg in 10 ml of solution. Things to be taken care of are, while giving nebulization, patient should be given upright position. Monitor vitals while treatment. Following nebulization, chest PT is always recommended. Postural drainage, percussions, vibrations, huffing, coughing, ACBT or suctioning following nebulizations gives optimum results. Breathing exercises, deep breathing exercises while nebulization provides rapid action. That's all for today. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.